The aroma of freshly brewed coffee wafted through our kitchen, a cherished tradition that signaled the start of our day. As I lingered by the window, the first light of dawn began its gentle ascent over the horizon, painting our backyard in a soft, warm glow. The garden, a canvas of Mark's dreams, was awakening with the whispers of spring's arrival. The gentle sound of Cash's paws echoed softly as he approached his tail, wagging eagerly ready for our morning jog together. "Are you prepared for our adventure, my friend?" I leaned down my fingers gently, finding their way to the spot behind his ears. His response was a lively exclamation, his eyes shining with joy. As we ventured out, the crisp morning breeze greeted us, a delightful change from the cozy embrace of our home. In the stillness of our neighborhood, the air was filled with the soft melodies of distant birds. While the steady beat of our footsteps echoed against the pavement, Cash took the lead, his nose to the earth, uncovering every intriguing scent that beckoned him. This was our moment, a cherished segment of our daily rhythm, where I could free my thoughts, map out my day, or just relish in the tranquility. But today, something felt amiss. A gentle change in the atmosphere reminiscent of the stillness that precedes a tempest. I attempted to dismiss the sensation, chalking it up to the pressure of an imminent conference where I was set to take the stage. Back home, Mark sat at the table, his laptop illuminated before him, fingers gracefully gliding across the keys, weaving a tale of productivity. As we stepped inside, he glanced up, a smile dancing across his face. "What tales do you have from the run?" With a sense of excitement, I responded, filling my cup with steaming coffee. "Look at you! Cash, you've discovered a brand new stick, haven't you?" My friend Mark laughed heartily, observing as Cash triumphantly placed his prized find at his feet. "He has a remarkable collection." As we gathered around the table for breakfast, the familiar array of oatmeal, vibrant fresh fruits, and creamy yogurt awaited us. Our dialogue unfolded effortlessly, weaving through topics of work, the garden's development, and our weekend aspirations. Still, that unsettling sensation lingered, much like a stranger who had taken a seat among us. Once breakfast was done, I made my way to my office, a cozy space brimming with books on nutrition health charts, and my trusty laptop, where I readied myself for the upcoming client consultations. Today, my attention was captivated by the conference presentation. As I reviewed my slides, a sudden buzz from my phone caught my attention. A message from an unfamiliar number. "Jessica, we have a story to share." Once upon a time, there was a character named Mark Asterisk. My heart raced with excitement. Who might this be? And what about Mark's journey? My thoughts swirled with scenarios, each one more unsettling than the last. I attempted to brush it off as a joke, yet the whisper of uncertainty had taken root within me. The day unfolded with a tapestry of consultations where each client wove their unique challenges and triumphs into the narrative. Yet that message hung in the air, a shadow casting doubt over my typical excitement. As the sun dipped below the horizon, Mark and I settled into our familiar rhythm, enjoying a meal together and recounting the events of our day. He appeared to be his typical self, yet an unsettling sense lingered in the air, hinting that all was not as it seemed. "Mark." I started with a hint of uncertainty as we tidied up the table. "Were there any remarkable events today?" He took a moment, his gaze fixed on me, a look of confusion crossing his face. "No." "What prompts your inquiry?" I hesitated, my teeth grazing my lip as I weighed the decision to bring up the message. Today felt a bit off, like a tale that didn't quite unfold as expected. I received an unusual message regarding you. His brows furrowed in thought. What type of narrative? I shared the message with him. His face lost a bit of color, yet he swiftly regained his composure. "It might just be a case of a misdial, or perhaps someone looking to create a bit of chaos. There's no need to be concerned about it, yet it did cause me concern." The night unfolded brimming with familiar happenings, but an unsettling tension lingered in the air. As we nestled into bed, Mark's arm wrapped around me, I gazed up at the ceiling, the words echoing in my thoughts. What if this held deeper significance than just an ordinary error? What if the ideal existence we had crafted was resting on a base that was on the verge of collapse? The tempest I felt brewing was far more than mere symbolism. It was gathering strength, poised to disrupt the world I held dear. As I rested in that dimly lit room, the shadows whispered of mysteries lurking in the depths, a hidden truth so profound it threatened to unravel all that I held dear. Life flowed along its usual course, until one evening when Mark revealed he would be departing for a business conference for a week. The house echoed with a sense of absence, and I found solace in the presence of Cash, drawing closer to him for comfort. We would wander through the neighborhood frequently, discovering a secluded courtyard, a hidden treasure embraced by tall hedges where Cash delighted in playing fetch. In this serene setting, the chapters of my life started to unfold in unexpected ways. The days without Mark unfolded, each one feeling more drawn out than the one before. The stillness of the house echoed, and the lack of his laughter. His footsteps transformed the space into a vast emptiness. Cash, picking up on my discomfort, remained near, offering a subtle sense of reassurance. We'd wander our strolls, stretching on, meandering without purpose, as if we were both on a quest to uncover something that could bridge the emptiness. One afternoon, as the sun began its descent, casting long shadows across the neighborhood, Cash guided me to our hidden courtyard, a place filled with whispers of the past and echoes of laughter. The setting was as tranquil as always, with the hedges creating a protective embrace from the world beyond. In this serene moment, I found myself nearly able to push aside the persistent unease that had settled in since the arrival of that enigmatic note. Cash darted away his tail, a whirlwind, as he pursued the stick I had tossed. I observed him, his happiness spreading like wildfire, while my thoughts drifted away, looping through the message repeatedly. Jessica *, it's time for us to have a conversation. Let me share a tale about Mark *. Can you share who this individual is? What was their understanding? The inquiries swirled like a tempest in my thoughts, the serenity of the courtyard standing in sharp relief to the chaos inside me. As Cash came back, stick in mouth, I observed something unusual. Nestled beneath a bush, partially concealed by the leaves, lay a small, time-worn box. Curiosity ignited. I picked it up gently, wiping away the grime. Though it was secured, a weathered chain held the key close by. As the lid slowly opened with a soft creak, it unveiled a treasure trove of memories, a collection of faded photographs, heartfelt letters, and a delicate, tarnished locket. The images captured a version of Mark, yet it was not the Mark I recognized. In his youth, his grin was wider, and his gaze sparkled with a unique brilliance. One photo captured a moment between him and a woman, their arms entwined, their joyous laughter preserved forever. My heart felt heavy. What tales could be woven about her? The letters found their way to Mark, written in an elegant flowing hand that seemed to dance across the page. The temptation to delve into them was too strong to resist, despite knowing I shouldn't have. They shared tales of love, of vows exchanged, of a future intertwined that appeared to have been suddenly interrupted. The final letter, written long ago, overflowed with an emotional farewell, a parting that suggested a profound, lingering sorrow. As the locket was gently pried open, it revealed a delicate lock of hair, alongside a small, worn photograph of the very same woman whispering tales of the past. My hands shook as I shut it, the burden of the revelation pressing down on my heart. This was more than a mere assortment of recollections. There was a hidden chapter in Mark's life, one he had kept locked away from me. The courtyard, once a sanctuary of tranquility, now seemed like a backdrop for a tale that had quietly played out in the shadows. Cash, unaware of the storm brewing within me, remained engrossed in his play, his stick cast aside as he pursued a delicate butterfly. I settled into my seat, the box resting beside me as the world around me seemed to shift ever so slightly. What story does this unfold for us? What about Mark and me? The man I cherished, the life we crafted together, felt unexpectedly delicate, like a tower of cards poised to tumble with the faintest nudge. As the night unfolded, I resolved to face Mark upon his arrival. But until that moment arrived, the courtyard guarded its mysteries, and I, its custodian, was left to reflect on the significance of what I had uncovered. In the quiet of the moment, the atmosphere was serene, punctuated only by the gentle whisper of leaves and the rhythmic breaths of Cash. Yet beneath this calm surface, a tempest was gathering, one that would challenge the core of our bond. Time flowed like a river, each moment blending into the next. Every moment in this courtyard transported me to a realm where time intertwined, blending echoes of history with the vibrancy of today. Each day I found myself returning, compelled by an unseen pull, searching for clarity in the stillness. With every visit I sought understanding, yet was met with an abundance of questions, lingering echoes of a life Mark had experienced prior to my arrival. The courtyard, surrounded by towering hedges, transformed into both a refuge and a confinement, a space where I could momentarily flee the truths of my home, yet remained ensnared by the echoes of history. As I lingered in that serene courtyard, the box at my side, it dawned on me that the mystery contained within was not solely about Mark, but rather a profound exploration of trust and truth, woven into the fabric of our relationship. What tales would unfold upon Mark's return? Could the revelation of reality liberate us, or might it serve as the spark for our downfall? Only time would reveal the truth. But for now, in this quiet sanctuary, I found myself alone with my reflections, the burden of revelation resting heavily upon me, as profound as the stillness that surrounded the courtyard. One afternoon, as the sun dipped low, casting long shadows across the courtyard, an unexpected event unfolded. As I was having fun with Cash, I stumbled and found myself tumbling in an unexpected way. In a twist of fate, I unexpectedly ended up in a moment of clumsiness involving Cash while trying to save myself from falling. The intensity of the moment swept over me like a tidal wave, and in my haze of confusion and solitude, I found myself frozen in the moment, unsure how to react. In a fleeting moment of vulnerability, I acted against my better judgment. The moment the truth dawned on me, it felt as if a heavy weight had crashed down, plunging me into a deep well of disbelief and regret. As I settled into the cool embrace of the grass, my thoughts swirled, reflecting on the events that had just unfolded. The courtyard, which had once been a sanctuary, now resembled a haunting tableau from a dark tale. Cash, picking up on the change in my demeanor, settled next to me, his head cocked in puzzlement. My gaze faltered, unable to withstand the burden of my choices. Mirrored in his pure, untainted eyes, the stillness enveloped everything, interrupted solely by the faint buzz of existence beyond the hedges. My thoughts swirled like a stormy ocean, each wave crashing down with a mix of guilt and confusion. How could I have allowed this to unfold? In the quiet of my mind, the weight of solitude, the pressure of unspoken truths, and the revelations I had stumbled upon regarding Mark all converged, leading me to this fragile moment. I rose to my feet, shaking off the blades of grass, sensing an urge to flee from this spot that had seen my descent from favor. Yet as I continued on my path, the burden of the box I had discovered earlier felt increasingly oppressive, its contents now woven into the fabric of my own transgressions. As I made my way back to the house, every step seemed to draw me closer to a reckoning with my own thoughts and feelings. Within the walls, the house echoed with silence, mirroring the void in my heart. I filled a glass with water, my hands shaking slightly. The water barely soothed the parched feeling in my throat, a sensation rooted in guilt and fear. I found myself at the kitchen table, the very spot where Mark and I had enjoyed numerous meals together, where we had woven dreams of our future. At that moment, it seemed like the perfect backdrop for a revelation I wasn't prepared to share. The evening unfolded, shadows lengthening, reflecting the depths of my inner turmoil. I sought refuge in the flickering screen channel surfing, in hopes of escape, yet each program, each film felt like a taunt, echoing my own struggles. I switched it off and the quiet settled in thick with unspoken blame. My phone rested on the table, a quiet observer of the moments unfolding around it. I reached for my phone, my thumb lingering above Mark's name. Should I share my tale with him? Should I share it with him? The anticipation of his response, the looming possibility of heartbreak, twisted my insides. I set the phone aside, its screen dimmed, mirroring the uncertainty that loomed over my future. At that moment, I settled into bed early, yearning for the solace of sleep, yet my thoughts raged like an unyielding tempest. Visions of the courtyard, the box, the letters, and my own folly danced in my mind like a never-ending tale. I writhed in my restless slumber, the fabric wrapping around me like the fabrications that seemed to define my existence. The following morning, I arose with the sensation that sleep had eluded me entirely. The house was still in eerie silence, enveloping it as if it was aware of the hidden truths I kept within. I moved through my morning routine, but it felt disjointed, as if I were acting in a play without an audience to witness it. Cash lingered by my side, a persistent echo of the past that refused to fade away. Avoiding his gaze felt like the only option. The weight of my shame too heavy to bear, I provided him with food and water, yet kept my distance from any genuine connection. The connection we once cherished now seemed marred, shadowed by my choices and the truths I had unearthed. I chose to take a solitary walk, craving the freedom to reflect and find my breath in the quiet of my surroundings. The neighborhood stirred to life with people moving through their routines, completely oblivious to the chaos that enveloped my own existence. I wandered without purpose, my steps leading me back to the courtyard as though pulled by an unseen power. In the quiet embrace of the towering hedges, I settled myself the box resting beside me. I revisited it, gazing at the photographs and letters, seeking some comfort or insight into Mark's history. Yet all that met my gaze was the dim reflection in the tarnished locket, a testament to a love now tangled by my own choices. The hours slipped by slowly, each tick of the clock, heavy with the anticipation and anxiety surrounding Mark's impending arrival. What should I share? How might I share this? The idea of him slipping away, of our shared journey coming apart due to my fleeting lapse, was simply too much to bear. As the sun dipped below the horizon, once again I felt the weight of reality pressing upon me. It's not solely about Mark, it's also about my own journey. I found myself facing a truth I couldn't ignore. I had wandered off the path not only in my actions, but also in my feelings from the person I promised to become. The courtyard, filled with whispers and hidden corners, reflected the depths of my being, exposing imperfections I had long overlooked. I made up my mind to have a conversation with Mark when he got back, not only about the box, but about all that had been happening. Yet the reality, no matter how difficult, was the sole journey ahead. I would reveal my innermost self, my missteps, and wish that the bond we had was resilient enough to endure the tempest. On that chilly night, the stars were veiled by clouds mirroring the elusive clarity I yearned for. As I lay in bed, the burden of my choices enveloped me, the stillness of the house echoing the isolation I had chosen for myself. Tomorrow, Mark would return, bringing with him the dawn of a conclusion, or if fortune smiled upon us, the start of something fresh. In that moment, surrounded by shadows, I found myself immersed in a world of reflection where the burden of revelation and my choices loomed large, as palpable as the stillness that wrapped around the home. In the days that followed, I felt like a mere shadow of who I once was, with the weight of my guilt pressing down. I found myself dodging Mark's calls, unable to confront him. Each ring of the phone echoed with the weight of my choices, a haunting reminder of the trust I had shattered. I immersed myself in my tasks, seeking to silence the clamor of my thoughts with a relentless flow of emails, reports, and meetings. Yet each glance at Cash brought back memories of my vulnerable moment. His innocent eyes, which used to bring solace, now seemed to cut through me with an unspoken critique. I began to delve into the depths of my mind, exploring the fabric of my beliefs, the essence of who I am. The courtyard, once a sanctuary where I could find refuge from life's burdens, now resembled a stage for a dark tale. The towering hedges that once offered solace now felt like barriers confining me within the shadows of my own remorse. I realized it was time to face this challenge. But how could I articulate what seemed beyond words? How can I share with Mark that in a fleeting moment of solitude and uncertainty, I ventured beyond a boundary that should have remained intact? The days without Mark unfolded, each one feeling more drawn out than the one before. The stillness of the home was overwhelming, and the lack of his joy, his presence transformed the area into an echoing void. Cash, picking up on my discomfort, remained by my side, his company a gentle reassurance. Yet each time he gazed in my direction, I caught a glimpse of my own embarrassment mirrored back at me. We'd wander further our strolls, stretching into the unknown, as if we were both on a quest to uncover something that could mend the emptiness created by my choices. One afternoon, as the sun began its descent, casting long shadows across the neighborhood, Cash guided me back to our hidden courtyard, a place filled with whispers of the past and echoes of laughter. The setting was tranquil, with the hedges forming a protective embrace from the chaos beyond. In this serene moment, I found myself on the brink of letting go of the persistent unease that had settled in my mind ever since that enigmatic note arrived. Yet today, the calmness outside stood in sharp opposition to the turmoil stirring within me. Cash dashed away his tail a whirlwind as he pursued the stick I had tossed. I observed him, his happiness spreading like wildfire, yet my thoughts wandered, cycling through the message repeatedly. Jessica, we have a story to share. It's a tale of Mark. Asterisk. Can you share who this individual is? What were they aware of? The inquiries swirled like a tempest in my thoughts, the serenity of the courtyard standing in sharp relief to the chaos inside me. As Cash came back, stick in mouth, I observed something unusual. Nestled beneath a bush, partially concealed by the surrounding greenery, lay a small, time-worn box. Curiosity ignited. I picked it up gently, wiping away the grime that clung to it. The door stood firmly shut, yet a weathered key dangled from a chain, its rust telling tales of time gone by. As the lid slowly turned, a soft creak echoed through the air, unveiling a treasure trove of forgotten memories, a stack of aged photographs, delicate letters, and a small tarnished locket that seemed to whisper tales of the past. The images captured a version of Mark, yet it was not the Mark I recognized. In those days he radiated youth, his grin wider and his gaze sparkled with a unique brilliance. One photo captured a moment with him and a woman, their arms entwined, their joyous laughter preserved for eternity. My heart felt heavy. What tales could be told about her? The letters found their way to Mark, written in a graceful, flowing hand that seemed to dance across the page. The temptation was too strong to resist, and I found myself drawn into a world I shouldn't have explored, driven by an insatiable curiosity to grasp the deeper meaning behind it all. They shared tales of love, of vows exchanged, of a future intertwined, that appeared to have been unexpectedly interrupted. The final letter, written long ago, overflowed with an emotional farewell, a parting that suggested a profound, lingering sorrow. As the locket was gently opened, it revealed a delicate lock of hair alongside a small, worn photograph of the same woman whispering tales of the past. My hands shook as I shut it, the burden of the revelation pressing down on my heart. This was more than a mere assortment of recollections. It was a hidden chapter, a facet of Mark's existence he had kept to himself all along. The courtyard, once a sanctuary of tranquility, now seemed like a backdrop for an untold tale, where secrets lingered in the air. Cash, unaware of the storm brewing within me, remained lost in his own world, his stick cast aside as he pursued a delicate butterfly. I settled into my seat, the box at my side, sensing a gentle shift in the world around me. What story does this unfold for us? For Mark and me, the man I cherished, the life we had woven together felt suddenly delicate, like a tower of cards poised to tumble at the faintest breath. As the night unfolded, I resolved to face Mark upon his arrival. But until that moment arrives, the courtyard kept its mysteries, and I, its guardian, was left to reflect on the significance of what I had uncovered. In the quiet of the moment, the air hung heavy, broken only by the gentle whisper of leaves and the rhythmic breaths of Cash. Yet beneath this calm surface, a tempest was gathering, one that would challenge the core of our bond. As the days unfolded, each moment in this courtyard transformed into a vivid tapestry, weaving together threads of the past and present in a dance of memories. Each day, I found myself returning, compelled by an unseen pull, searching for clarity within the stillness. With every visit, I yearned for understanding, yet was met with an abundance of questions. Lingering echoes of a life Mark had experienced prior to my arrival. The courtyard, surrounded by towering hedges, transformed into both a refuge and a confinement. A realm where I could momentarily flee from the truths of my home, yet remained ensnared by the echoes of history. As I lingered in that serene courtyard, the box at my side, It dawned on me that the hidden truth within this tranquil space was not solely about Mark, but rather the fundamental nature of trust and honesty that defined our bond. What tales would unfold upon Mark's return? Could the revelation of reality liberate us, or might it spark our downfall? Only time would reveal the truth. But for now, in this hidden corner, I found myself alone with my reflections. The burden of revelation resting heavily upon me, as dense as the stillness that surrounded the courtyard. The weight of my own decisions, especially the emotional misjudgment I experienced, pressed down on me like a heavy stone. How can I confront Mark about this? How can I convey that in a time of weakness, I wandered far from the person I believed I was? The guilt lingered like an ever-present shadow murmuring its accusations during the stillness, transforming the solitude of the house into a space of relentless scrutiny. Every day I sought comfort in the familiar, yet the familiarity had lost its warmth. The morning coffee, once a cherished ritual that wove our lives together, now carried a hint of bitterness. The garden, a testament to Mark's passion, appeared to taunt me with its splendor, highlighting the turmoil I carried within. I turned my gaze away from Cash, his very presence echoing the imperfections I tried to forget. Still, he stood by me, his gaze brimming with a devotion that seemed beyond what I felt I was worthy of. The sight of that purity was unbearable, a stark reminder of how my choices had tarnished it. The days without Mark unfolded like a series of chapters, each one preparing for the inevitable clash that awaited. I realized I had to share with him not only about the box, but about it all. Yet the reality, no matter how difficult was the soul journey ahead, I would reveal my innermost thoughts, my missteps, and wish that the bond we had could endure the challenges ahead. As the night before Mark's return drew near, I found myself in bed, the burden of my choices heavy upon me. The stillness of the home echoed the loneliness I had chosen for myself. Tomorrow, Mark would return, bringing with him the promise of change and ending, or if fortune smiled upon us, the dawn of something new. In that moment, surrounded by shadows, I found myself lost in a whirlwind of reflections, the burden of revelations and my choices bearing down on me as palpable as the stillness that wrapped around the home. When Mark came back, you could feel the air thick with unspoken words. Though I had practiced my revelation countless times, when the time arrived, I found myself at a loss for words. In that moment, I fell apart, tears streaming down my face without restraint. With a furrowed brow, Mark wrapped his arms around me, his voice laced with worry as he inquired about my troubles. With a heavy heart, I laid bare my soul, bracing for the storm that might follow. Mark's response took me by surprise. He stood there, a quiet figure, his expression a mystery. After what seemed like ages, he finally broke the silence, his voice steady yet resolute. He required a moment to reflect on this, to grasp how we might navigate the path ahead if there was one. With Mark's return, the atmosphere of the house shifted as if it had a tale to tell. The atmosphere was thick with anticipation, as if the very walls were pausing in silence, bracing for the impending tempest. As he unpacked, each movement seemed intentional, yet his thoughts drifted to distant places. The quiet stretched between us, heavy with the weight of unvoiced inquiries and anxieties. I discovered something Mark once started. My voice soft and hesitant, I revealed to him the box, the photographs, the letters, and the locket. His eyes roamed over the items, and for a fleeting instant I caught a glimpse of something, maybe pain or perhaps regret. "How did you come across this?" His voice flowed with a calmness, yet beneath it I could feel a wave of unspoken feelings. In the courtyard, tucked away beneath a bush, I didn't intend to intrude, but my curiosity compelled me to seek the truth. I confessed, my heart racing within me. Mark settled into his seat, the box awaiting his attention. As he lifted the locket, his fingers danced along the worn edges, each touch whispering secrets of the past. "This was from another life," he murmured, almost as if sharing a secret with the shadows around us. "Once upon a time, I believed I understood the essence of love." I settled next to him, the space separating us, stretching out like an endless journey. What tales could be told about her? Inquired, my voice quivering with emotion. "Once upon a time, there was a girl named Emily." He started, his eyes wandering into the past. In our youth, we found a love that felt timeless, yet the journey of life led us down separate paths. She drifted away and the connection faded. It seems like I had turned the page, yet this moment pulls me back into the past, reviving all those memories I absorbed every word, feeling a deep ache for him, for what we shared. Why didn't you share her story with me? It wasn't about concealing her, Jess. It was a journey of progression, a tale of leaving behind what once was. Perhaps I ought to have opened up about this with you. His voice carried the weight of sorrow. The atmosphere was heavy with the significance of our discoveries. I realized I needed to share my own moment of vulnerability, the treachery that seemed to undermine all that we believed in. "Mark, there's so much more," I said, my voice trembling. "During your absence, an event unfolded. Once upon a time, I found myself in a moment of error, a grave error." Our gazes intertwined, probing and curious. What type of error are we discussing? I inhaled deeply, the words lingering on my tongue like burnt remnants. In a moment of solitude, I found myself engulfed by the weight of it all. There was an emotionally confusing moment involving Cash. It was a mistake, and I deeply regret it. Mark's face turned ashen, his expression a blend of disbelief and pain. "Are you saying something happened with Cash?" His voice was a soft murmur, a hint of incredulity lacing his words. In that fleeting instant, Mark vulnerability took the stage. In a moment of uncertainty, I found myself adrift, unsure of how to navigate the challenges before me. I deeply apologize. As I stood there, emotions poured out, each drop heavy with remorse. He rose to his feet, wandering around the room, his fingers tangled in his hair. I require some air," he uttered, his voice taut with tension. He stepped away, leaving me to confront the echoes of what once was and the unvarnished truth of now. The night unfolded, every passing minute heavy with the weight of time. In the living room, I found myself enveloped in silence, the only companion the relentless ticking of the clock. Each tick, a reminder of moments shared of our journey together, gradually fading into the past. When Mark came back, his expression was firm, and his eyes were swollen, hinting at a recent emotional struggle. He settled into his seat across from me, the air thick with the gravity of our shared revelations. "I'm not sure how to begin, Jess," he said, his voice barely above a whisper. "I seek to grasp this in order to navigate through it. I care for you deeply. Yet this feels overwhelming," I understood. I murmured, the anguish in his gaze reflecting my own. "I understand that forgiveness may take time. I simply wanted to share the reality with you." He nodded slowly, the silence enveloping them once more, yet this time it carried a different weight. It was more than the quiet of untold tales. In that moment, the quiet spoke volumes about a bond teetering on the edge of change. "We require some time," Mark finally expressed. "It's a moment to explore whether we can rise from the ashes of our past to see if the bonds of trust can be woven anew." I nodded, aware that trust once shattered was delicate. We chose to step back for a moment to ponder our connection and what lies ahead for us. The following days unfolded like a tapestry of distinct routines and individual musings, all woven together beneath one roof. The garden, once a vibrant tapestry of our memories, now stood as a desolate expanse echoing the silence of what once was. I turned away, the vision too heart-wrenching to bear. Cash, feeling the change in the air, became more subdued, his typical vibrancy fading away. As the day faded into twilight with the sun dipping low and stretching shadows around our abode, Mark made his way toward me. "I've been pondering," he remarked, his tone soft and inviting. "I'm eager to give it a shot, Jess. I hope we can navigate our paths back to one another." A wave of relief enveloped me, yet it carried with it the realization that this marked merely the start of an extensive journey ahead. "Oh, Mark, I desire that just as much, if not more, than anything else." We decided to embark on a journey of healing, embracing honest dialogue and working together to restore not only trust, but the very essence of our relationship. The journey before him was shrouded in mystery, fraught with challenges, yet for the first time since his return, a spark of optimism flickered in his heart. As we sat together, the space between us shrinking, I came to understand that our union, much like a garden, required nurturing patience and time to flourish once more. The storm had moved on, yet its aftermath remained a poignant reminder of how delicate love can be, and the resilience needed to revive it once more. The weeks that came after were filled with challenges that tested us deeply. Mark and I embarked on a journey into therapy, exploring our individual paths, as well as our shared experiences as a couple. Each session unfolded like a narrative uncovering the delicate, vulnerable aspects of ourselves that we had long concealed or overlooked. The path was challenging, marked by struggle and deep reflection. We discovered the power of letting go, not only towards one another, but also within ourselves. We explored the intricate tapestry of human emotions, recognizing that love encompasses not only the joyful moments, but also the journey through the most challenging times, side by side. Therapy was more than mere conversation. It was about embracing the art of connection, where we delve into the depths of one another's struggles, anxieties, and dreams. We shared tales of trust, its delicate nature, and the journey of rebuilding it with patience and care. It was during these moments that I came to understand the weight Mark had been bearing not only from our recent struggles, but also from his history from Emily. His quietness regarding the issue wasn't an attempt to conceal, but rather a means to safeguard, to shield me from a chapter of his life that he believed was in the past. Cash, our steadfast friend, transformed into something far greater than a mere pet. During this period, he embodied our dedication to restoration. His innocent presence evoked the essence of love's purity, a reminder of the joy that life continues to offer even in the face of our challenges. We chose to embark on a new journey, bidding farewell to the courtyard, filled with its whispers and mysteries. It was a vivid expression of our desire to embark on a fresh journey, to cultivate a connection that transcended mere existence and embraced flourishing. The journey of relocating held its own kind of healing magic. As we packed up our life, sorting through our belongings, each decision about what to keep and what to let go unfolded like a chapter in our emotional journey. We were releasing the weight of what had been not only Mark's burdens, but also the missteps I had carried with me. Every box we sealed felt like turning the page, paving the way for fresh starts. Our new home, though, smaller, had a warmth that made it feel just right. It was a blank slate, untouched by the whispers of hidden tales. In this moment, we began to reshape the way we connect with one another. We established fresh patterns, ones that embraced greater togetherness and encouraged more heartfelt dialogues. We always carved out time to share dinner together each night, regardless of how hectic our lives became. These dinners became our cherished moments where we exchanged not only meals, but also the essence of our lives, our thoughts, our daily experiences, our fears and our aspirations. One evening as we gathered around our new dining table, the one we chose together, Mark gazed at me with a tenderness in his eyes that felt like a cherished memory, returning after a long absence. "Jessica," he started, his voice unwavering, but rich with feeling. "I've been reflecting deeply on our journey together, on all the experiences we've shared. I want you to feel my presence. I'm committed to this journey, come what may." Emotions surged within me, not from sorrow, but from a deep wave of relief and thankfulness. "I understand, Mark, and I'm here as well. We've encountered our share of missteps, yet here we are, evolving and discovering new paths." With a gentle motion, he extended his arm over the table and grasped my hand, creating a moment that felt rich with unspoken tales. For ages, I've held Emily close, not merely in my heart, but within the quiet moments of my life. I realized that opening up about that aspect of my life, including the difficult moments, is a way to express my love for you completely. I grasped his hand, sensing the heat of his touch, the genuineness in his voice. I've come to understand that trust is not something handed over freely. It must be cultivated and nurtured with each passing day. I regret my role in the fracture of what we had, yet I am dedicated to mending it piece by piece. We shared thoughts on forgiveness, emphasizing that it wasn't merely about releasing the past, but rather about the decision to journey ahead side by side. We shared tales of our love, which despite its trials revealed uncharted depths we had yet to discover. It was a bond that could withstand the test of time, that could mend wounds, that could flourish even in the face of challenges. As the weeks transformed into months, the narrative of our relationship unfolded. We uncovered layers in our bond, revealing not only affection, but also a profound sense of empathy and insight. We began to share more laughter, discovering happiness in the little moments such as watching Cash whirl around in the backyard or planting a new garden together, one that represented our journey of growth. Therapy persisted a steady presence in our journey, illuminating the paths we had to traverse, not only for one another, but for our own growth as well. We discovered the art of sharing, revealing our desires and anxieties free from the weight of judgment. We discovered the power of openness, revealing our wounds, understanding that in our collective honesty, we uncovered resilience. As we strolled through our new neighborhood, Cash took the lead with his characteristic excitement, while Mark glanced at me, his expression brightened by the glow of the setting sun. What tales await us in the days to come? Jess. As I gazed upon him, the man I had decided to share my journey with, a smile spread across my face. It contains the essence of what we decide to create within it. United, we can overcome any challenge. In that instant, as the future unfolded ahead, both unpredictable and brimming with possibilities, a sense of tranquility washed over me, one I hadn't experienced in ages. Our relationship transformed in ways we never anticipated, revealing profound layers of our love, a bond resilient enough to withstand the weight of the deepest secrets. If you found the tale captivating, be sure to subscribe, like, and share your thoughts. This will assist us in crafting more captivating narratives for you.